You were a
I
film
took it
studies
as an
major.
elective.
Yeah, and they made us take philosophy because it
No
has
way
to
in
do with
hell. I don't believe that.
storytelling. What are you fucking talking about right
No
now?
way in hell. You don't need philosophy to do. Sadly, you
To
don't.
do film? Yes, you do.
You really don't. But if
Yes,
they
you
made you
do.
do that, that's
You
good.
totally
You so
do.
don't. You so don't. You don't need philosophy.
This is why you're the actor. See,
needs,
this
make
is-
good
needs a
movies?
strong word. Needs a strong word.
To make a good film with a strong, intricate storyline, you don't.
You guys
need
know what
philosophy.
comparative literature is? You guys know what English is? English teaches you that. You don't need philosophy
you
to
need
do that.
English a part
Yeah,
of
what
that
the fuck
major
do you
too.
need
You
English?
need.
Yeah.
What do you
I know
what are
you need
talking
English.
about?
I know you need English for your major.
What?
I just don't buy the philosophy in your major, bro. As a
Why
film
would-
stu-
They're so
film major.
interconnected. What are you even talking about? I'm so surprised you're
Literally
saying
every
this, Mitch.
film, every work of art is
Yeah.
like so philosophically
core-
entwined. What are you talking
Like these
about?
It can be. It doesn't
core
have to be.
These core human
Without
struggles
it,
that,
it's like-
of every storyline are invested in like those basic philosophical ideas. You
Right.
know, if I pull this lever and kill these 10 people, is that worse than letting one person die and I have nothing to do
This
with
is
it? Like
true.
there are
I'm not
This is
disagreeing with
Like
that.
utilitarianism. That's what she
literature-
just. Yeah.
literature is founded in these philosophical ideas. That's insane that you're not realizing how
Well-
much of the same they are.
So because I've studied all of them, from comparative
have you?
literature to
Have you?
philosophy.
Who does
yeah,
he think he's talking
yeah,
to?
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
In terms of the literature basis versus philosophy basis, because I studied all
listen,
those.
Mitch, we've all gone to college here. Okay?
Literally all of us have gone to college.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
think
yeah.
my degree's
Some of
in?
you, I don't know if you really care as much as you claim that you do. But in
Wow,
any
and
case, no, I just personally don't.
That
Like, I
ego,
see the
man.
points you're making, and I agree with the points. I just
That
don't
ego.
think it's a necessity. You don't always have to get in, because not all film has to be like that, is all I mean. Film that is like that
you
is,
can
of
make
course,
shitty
awesome.
films, too.
Like,
I
you
know.
what I'm saying?
Thanks. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, man.
Exactly.
Sometimes the simplest things
School
entertain
is
people.
supposed to set you up for success, not just the bare minimum failure.
Yeah.
Like it's like
I don't think
the
so. I
fuck?
think you guys are just
There's
being
layers
elitist.
and understandings. No,
Which is
you're
okay, you wanna be
you're
elitist.
actually being elitist. Oh,
Yeah.
There we go. You're like, I've actually studied this in college when I went to acting school.
Well, I didn't mean my acting
Unlike
school training.
some people.
I went to the Jay-Z Rock Nation school,
Yeah.
and
I mean,
let
I
me
did.
tell
I
you,
did.
You
I
I
might
did.
have gotten
philosophy.
kicked out recently, but I did
did.
go for a
I
few
did.
days.
I left. So we're clear. So we're clear.
Unlike
I
my
left. Just so we're clear.
uneducated friends here.
Which I apologize for, audience. But in any case, I left because that's the capability I have. But
Because they didn't agree with his ideas.
no,
Yes.
but like in terms of storytelling, like it's not a necessity to me. Helpful,
I don't think
but
you
not
know
a
what
necessity.
philosophy is. I don't
That
think
makes
you know
sense.
what philosophy is. Yeah,
Completely understand
I don't think
philosophy.
you understand philosophy at all.
Yeah,
I
you,
do.
you obviously do not.
I got
No,
good grades
it's
in
like
philosophy.
a big obvious.
You
Like
so
it's,
clearly
it's
do.
I
too
got
obvious.
good grades in philosophy. I got
This is
good
not.
grades.
You make this too easy, Mitch.
Yeah, this is bad.
I don't think it's easy. Y'all just have y'all opinions that I disagree with. Y'all gonna have to
Yeah.
deal with my opinion,
Mitch
which
is
I
like-
disagree with.
He's like
It is
5
what it
steps
is.
away from being like an internet Republican.
really is. That's
Like,
crazy.
It's
It's like-
crazy.
I don't see politics like that
He's
because
like,
I just think
we all have opinions and they're all valid. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
man. It's like,
Except
no.
no,
yours.
I didn't say that because I don't think
Like,
y'all
that's not
opinion is
what,
valid.
what this is.
But, like I disagree.
Some shit is
I
just
completely
wrong,
disagree.
right? It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which is what I think about y'all opinion. You do not need philosophy to make film. You do not
Have you
need
ever watched,
philosophy
like,
to make
Kubrick?
film.
Fucking even Spielberg
That's
is
funny.
like philosophical.
No, but to be honest,
I
what
wish
you guys
could
are
have,
calling
like, a
what you
filmmaker
guys are
outfit.
calling
I
philosophy.
am a film major.
Don't get me. He
Phil, like
was.
a- like-
He was a film major. I'm sorry, that's mean. Anyway, in any case, what you guys are calling, what you guys are getting to in terms of the philosophy in film, I get because there's an intersection there that I get. Whereas me, I focus on the storytelling part, which is me just the person understanding themselves well enough. They don't have to necessarily get into the philosophy of it. It's just they're that good at telling
Exactly.
the
As
story.
the actor, you don't need to, but as the storyteller who tells the actor where to be,
As the
yes,
actor,
you need
you
to.
still kind of have to understand philosophy. I get it, but I don't think it's necessary.
Not for
Like,
you.
that's what I'm saying.
Not for you.
Some
think
actors
the-
just got it. Some directors just got it. That's what I'm saying.
No, there's no such thing as just have. They went to fucking school. What are you talking about?
Not all. I mean, did Kubrick even go to school?
Grew up and they just had like Kierkegaard like in their brain. Like it's just like.
Did
what
Kubrick
are you
even go
talking
to
about?
school, bro? Did he really for
Yeah, I
real?
know
Did
about
Kubrick go
the
to school?
thing.
Yes, Kubrick went to
Yeah.
school. What are you talking about? Literally
Where'd he
all
go?
of them. All of them.
Tarantino didn't.
Kubrick, Spielberg,
Did he?
fucking
They went to school?
Scorsese. They all went to film school, and they almost all went together.
That's crazy to me. What school did they go to, Mister? They went to school.
Fucking
Oh my
Spielberg
God,
went to
Mitch.
USC. What are you
What
talking
school
about?
did they go to? Because it's not the one I went to for one semester.
I didn't do that.
Before I left.
Even George Lucas went to film school.
Philosophy
That one, that's a
is-
hard buy for me.
It's like the thread that weaves through any proper
any
complex story
subject.
about. Let me finish. It's-
Sorry.
It is the threads that make up a complex storyline of what a person's character is, the reasons that they do, that make the decisions that they make, and the hardships they go through, and the way they feel about it, and the internal struggles. All of that is weaved with philosophical values and ideas that came from philosophy. So we're not saying that you need to take a philosophy class and study specifically philosophy.
No, I heard
But
you.
the basis of philosophy is understanding these core internal struggles that, are created these philosophical ideas. And without those, you can't really build a good story, because you need those in order to understand the way people struggle with the decisions they have to make and the things that they value. That's what the core of philosophy is. It's, are we going to make this decision based on how I feel, or am I in charge of, fate? Is fate going to have a bigger hand in my life more than my decisions, this and that? Those are all things that we think about and have to do every day. We don't call it philosophy because they're just decisions we have to make. But as a story writer and a filmmaker, you have to understand that it's based in philosophy, and you have to have it in,
He
I've
knows.
never-
He knows
disagree
this
with
because,
that.
like,
I once
like,
again, I haven't disagreed.
But like Mitch
terms of the
watches
internal
like
concept.
anime and reads manga, which have nothing to do but with like philosophical text and like philosophical ideas. So like the things he's talking about, I don't understand. Like, how could you say philosophical?
Because
know, right?
you could legit build your own universe without that concept.
Mitch, let him finish.
How could you
Sorry,
say that
I hate the talking over.
philosophy? Yeah, thank you. That philosophy isn't entwined in like storytelling, when the stories you read and the stories you actually like fawn over every day are the stories that are embedded in such deep philosophical history. Like fucking like Attack on Titan is like just like, it could be a treatise on like authoritarianism for all like intents and purposes, whether that was the artist's intent or not, but it is. You know what I mean? Like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes is philosophical. It's like, I don't even understand where he's coming from. Like, if you look at Star Wars and how ham-fisted that is, like, it's a whole screed on like spirituality and like Eastern philosophy and like all these different types of things. And it's like,
this is okay. I see where you're coming from, and I get it. Once again, I think it could help. This is why I don't think it's necessity. This is why I wouldn't actually have you as a film major doing it, because if you can understand the world, to me, in terms of some of the other subjects, because philosophy is like an extracurricular.
But how could you?
Because that's how you're raised.
I wanted. He said, "How you raised?" Oh,
Mitch,
all right.
explain exactly what you mean, because I also have a feeling that this is one of those things where Mitch says things in a weird way, and it makes it seem like he's saying
Well,
one
it
thing,
is-
but really
it is
he's
in a
saying
weird way.
exactly what he's saying, but he's just saying it weird. Go ahead,
Okay.
Mitch.
It is in a weird way, but once again, this is what I'm saying is not necessity. To me, philosophy, at this point especially, has become an extracurricular. While sure, Annie, you're right, in terms of philosophy being the subject that allowed people to create some of the other subjects, except for like math, because that's all like numbers, and history, because that's just a detailed recording. Like, because, science was called the natural philosophy, and English, well, no, it didn't help there. But once again, if you understand the world in other ways, you can still create a story just by guesswork. And if you can, do the
But
logic
should you
in
is
your
the
head,
question.
Wait.
in some cases, to be honest, in terms of like fresh and new ideas, you shouldn't be pulling from other way, because it's hard to write anything new under the sun, because we're just pulling from other past details and stories. This is what I mean.
I get that. As
I don't
a
think it's
person-
necessity.
I have as a person, I consider myself to have pretty strong intuition about people and what's happening, what's about to happen, and pretty strong, instinct. And I get that idea where it's like, okay, understanding philosophical ideas and all these values and the way people think in that is one thing. And I guess there is another thing to being naturally able to like just spill a story out and say someone might do this based off of just what they've been through, even if they have no education. I get that. But I don't know. Logan, what are you going to say?
I mean,
thank
you for that, but
this is like the Jordan Peterson Asian of this topic.
Oh my God.
So hard.
My God.
Because like
Logan, get over it. I don't think philosophy is necessary for a film student. I think there are more important things.
The more you say, the more I think you don't know what philosophy is. Like, what do you think philosophy is?
To be honest, complex negotiation in terms of morality.
No.
And what's right and what's wrong.
No, that's not what philosophy is. So that's what I mean. So it's like,
what is philosophy?
Philosophy is literally just the study of thinking. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's why philosophy is literally at the core of every study that is imagined. Like literally philosophy is the basis of it all. So when we think about philosophy, it has nothing to do with how like metaphysical or metatextual. That's at the end of everything else, but that has nothing to do with philosophy at its core. Philosophy is how you take anything and how you think about it. That's philosophy. So when we think about storytelling, you need philosophy in storytelling because it's how do you think about the text? How do you think about this problem? Even with acting, how do you interpret the text? And how do you interpret how the character's emotions or the character's motivations are within the story? Or that is all philosophy. Like philosophy is literally everything you do every day. Like how they say fucking kung fu is, that's philosophy. That's and like that's what I mean.
Agree, like disagree.
Study of thinking is very, very broad, but I get you. But like
it is very broad, but that's because the basis of philosophy is broad. Philosophy is set up so that it could encompass like every aspect of human life and thought. Because it is how do you think about, like at the very most annoying and very most base of it, it's how do you think about thinking?
Which doesn't that doesn't do it for me. Because how do you think about that's like I think therefore I am Rene Descartes like argument, which I guess I get
it's
it.
Even
like
before
philosophy.
Descartes. It's before.
Well, I know it's before Descartes, but it's like that similar premise, which brings you into like. What's the word I'm thinking about? It's like a oxymoron almost.
Like a redundancy, you mean?
Yes. Yes, exactly what I mean. How
because you take something as natural,
rather than living in the moment.
Therefore, it's inherent. But just because something is inherent doesn't mean it lacks the need for focus or study or to figure out what it even is. Like just because something is intrinsic to your life doesn't mean that it doesn't warrant observation.
Yeah, it's the philosophical theory of like, are we just brains in a tank and everything else is a simulation?
Right.
I think before I am, but the fact that we thought of what if we're brains in a tank and nothing else cancels the theory out, and that's why I think before I am is a thing, because like if I'm thinking it, therefore I am here. I can't just be a brain in a tank because I wouldn't have had that thought. You know what I mean? It's like that is a philosophical idea and value, but philosophy is the act of doing all of that, of thinking of that in the first place.
Exactly.
You know?
No, I get
so
it.
It is broad, which is why it's not a high school subject, because it's too broad to be teaching these 17-year-olds.
It's not as direct.
It's not direct.
I disagree because it's broad, it makes high schoolers think in a way that would not be just mainstream, where it's like, okay, I think about this subject. Like it makes you think about more than just the text of a subject. You know what I mean? Because you're very focused on the practice of how you think now. Now it's like, well, how should I solve this problem? Like maybe there's more than one way to solve this problem. And we need that at a more broader level in our society so that we could actually produce people who think and like actually innovate within that space. We look at people like Mark Zuckerberg or something, and then it's like, oh wow, these people are geniuses and stuff, and it's like, no, they just think differently. You know what I mean? But like, you can teach. I don't know about Zuckerberg is a
No.
genius. Yeah, like
I mean,
he's good at computers. He's good at code.
That's what I mean.
You know what I
That
mean?
shit is
but it's
pretty
like
hard.
somebody has a focus
How
and they're good
not
at
a
it. It
genius.
doesn't. He didn't come out of the womb coding. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like.
He had an
He's
idea.
not
He had
Mozart,
a
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's like that's what I mean. He's not a savant or anything. He just has a focus. He's very good at the focus he has, and really,
He's in the right
not,
place at the right
yeah.
time.
And his code isn't even revolutionary, anyways. He made like a fucking like social system where like it started out where he's like rating girls if they're hot or not. Like that's the basis of Facebook. Like
Yeah.
it's like he's not like breaking the wheel here. You know what I mean? So it's
Mhm.
just like. He has a focus in computers. He has a focus in technology, and he uses that focus in an interesting way, you know?
Mhm.
But like people could be doing that with any type of study and any type, like the fields of like medicine or fields of like construction, architecture. And that's where all these things come from. And people used to learn like these ideas at a younger age. We just stopped having them do that because education became more mainstream. They didn't want the masses to be educated in that way. Like fucking like people didn't live till like past like 40 most of the time. So they had to learn at like 16. If you were like a noble person, you had to learn like all these ideas of like Plato and Aristotle and all these like highbrow things that we would call highbrow today. You had to learn those things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially if you were going to be successful in like taking over your father's estate or whatever that was.
It also varies in time and country because they're, my parents are in their 70s. They grew up in India, and poetry was a core thing that they all learned. So there's a lot of like my family, this and that. They remember these poems that they had to memorize when they were kids because that was like philosophy and poetry were part of like the core classes they had to take growing up because that was what was valued over there. And that was not that long. It was like 50 years ago, 60s, whatever years ago in that country. And it's like, I've watched some Indian movies, and I'll realize that the adults in these movies are also talking about these poems, that these English poems that they read and memorized in school back in the day. So it kind of varies of what's valuable.
Yeah, like that's something that I think if I had kids, that'd be something that I would want to be integrated.
Yo, guys,
into
I'm sorry. I have to take a call real quick.
Okay.
Be right back.
Oh wow. I think he's sick of us.
Yeah.
He doesn't like this conversation.
It's like, fuck y'all. Fucking
Yeah, he's like,
liberals with you fucking outlaws.
fucking leftist crybabies.
East Coast elite.
I need to go back to Florida where we're educated.
And they're burning all the books.
Yeah.
Anyway. No, that's just like one of my favorite subjects. Like when I went to college, that was like my favorite subject. It was philosophy.
Yeah, same.
And so I'm like, like, what do you mean? Like, you don't need it? Like, I wish that like it was like, and I know people who grew up in other countries where like that was one of the things they were taught in high school was philosophy.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, I would have loved that. Like, I would have loved that. Like, I'm like, I am an overthinker. And so like having something that was like teaching you like how to like think about things that you were already thinking about. It's like, okay, I have all this bandwidth already. So let me use it in a constructive way. Yes. Yeah. Right. It's like,
yeah. Oh, totally. I would have loved to like have to learn poetry and memorize some poems in school because like I was a writer when I was in 8th grade and I was going through my like emo phase where like, everyone cut themselves at some point in 8th grade because they were doing it on Degrassi. And we
That's true. That is for sure. Yeah. Let's go.
We're all cutting ourselves, slitting our wrists in the middle of class.
A lot of blood everywhere, man.
A lot of blood on my test. I wrote a ton of poetry because I had some like dark days in the 8th grade, and I had a book of I had written over 120 poems. I had a notebook filled front to back, first page to the last page of this like marble notebook filled with poems. Some even had drawings, so much, and they just came straight out of like my brain.
Wow.
Some of them rhymed, most of them rhymed, but like some of them didn't, but it was still like deep. And like I remember my older sister, who was like 14 years older than me, so she was much older. She found it, and I didn't want her to see it, but she did find it and then write a few. Okay, and she was crying. I'm talking, Mitch. She was crying. He always has to just like
I love the evolution here. I like
know.
Annie like integrating into the show and like finding her place. Like, motherfucker, I'm talking. Like, it's like
stop.
I was just saying I was back. Damn. I wasn't trying to
but
interrupt.
like when you
saw
come
you
back,
come back.
yes, when you come back and you like hear people talking, you probably should not talk over. I'm just saying.
I wasn't
Listening
talking
is also
over.
part
I wasn't.
of. See right now, even right now. Anyway, yeah. Forget my story of poetry. I'm over it.
Oh,
I'm back, guys.
Shit. Damn.
It wasn't even that loud. Anyway.
I know.
It was loud.
That's why we have video.
Mhm.
To see each other.
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah,
what do you
I
want
get
to
it.
talk about, Mitch? Now, your turn.
Damn. She hit you with no, don't answer that. That's the trap. What the fuck?
I don't
you wanna
know.
talk
I didn't finish the last discussion we were having, but it's done now.
Okay.
I'm talking
What was it?
about
What was
that.
it?
No,
Okay,
the
continue.
one of I had a thought in terms of artistic expression and empirical thought, but it's what else.
No, go ahead. I
No,
want to hear.
go,
I wanna
go.
hear
No,
what
because
your
I just
thought
think
is.
those are very separate from me. Those are very separate from each other. And since we're talking about philosophy, the way the human brain kind of grew was in one sense making logical sense. The other sense, I guess we would call it artistic or emotional sense, but them not being the same, which is why my head's like, you don't need philosophy to make film, because if you just come from the heart and translate your ideas to be understood well, regardless if you're thinking about how it'll be received or the sense it makes in terms of the story, you'd be fine. But
I feel like
yeah,
that's
that was
how they
basically
make
it.
those Christian movie films. I feel like that's how they make those.
Oh
Like
my
God's
God.
Not Dead and shit. Like that's exactly how they make those.
Okay.
Did I tell you guys about this one Christian film I saw? It was a YouTube movie. Every now and then I'll just go on YouTube and they have these full movies without ads.
Oh, yeah.
They're just random movies or whatever. And I saw one. Oh my God. And it was about these three girls and they were in high school. And they were like, they were like kind of catty, just being teenage girls. And they would do this thing where they would prank call or prank like message random people on the internet. And I don't know if they would catfish or something like that, but there was one guy that they were catfishing or prank calling as a joke, and the guy was like a little crazy, and he thought he was talking to someone nice, and they were like, "Oh, we pranked you!" Ah, he stalked them, kidnapped them, trapped them in a basement, and was like, "You guys made me feel bad, and now this is your punishment." He tried to sell them into sex slavery.
That was a
into
Christian movie?
Yes.
Hold on. This is how I found out it was a Christian movie. Not until the very, very end when they
Ooh, then it was
said
good.
this exact line. So he's trying to sell them into sex trafficking, and all this shit is happening. Two of the three girls are able to get away. They run away. But the main girl, the girl who's like, the head girl, the one whose idea to like mess with people playfully, she gets caught, gets sold into trafficking. And the end of the movie, there's like this over voice because the two girls are just like, well, whatever. And they're walking back into school like it's the next day. And the thing was, maybe if she just didn't fucking, what was it? Oh God, I wish I knew. It was like, if she didn't play around with him, she never would have gotten trafficked. And so this is her fault. That was the fucking lesson of the movie. Don't be a girl and play like if she didn't do this to her. She got sold into sex trafficking. And
Wait,
the whole moral
that's
of
how
the
you were able
movie,
to tell?
Yes. The whole moral of that movie was it was her fault. And the guy got like nothing. Like he went back home after he got his money and nothing happened to him. The other two girls were kind of like, that really sucks. She got away. But now we learned our lesson and they just go to school and it's like a normal fucking day. Insane. And at the credits roll and it's like sponsored by Christian, whatever the fucking.
So that's how you found out it was a Christian movie,
I
really?
was like,
None
wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe if she just.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That
I
Is
was
there
like,
any
damn,
type of
Ooh.
no
Any type of
verses, no nothing, no references to the Bible at all? Just
No,
this
it
random
was
ass
very
story?
subtle. Very subtle. I had no idea until the very end until they said that shit. And I was like, wait, what? And then end credits roll and I saw whatever came up. Oh, God, I wish I remember the name of it.
And everybody
Same
had a
time, I don't
happily
wanna
ever
give-
after. That's just
Yeah. She was being a whore, so she deserved what she got. And yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well, thanks
Yeah.
for sharing. I wish you hadn't.
I
but
saw.
thanks.
I know. I forgot what brought that story.
On YouTube, I saw like Ghanaian Mortal Kombat. Like it was Mortal Kombat made by people
are
from
you
Ghana. And it was like
a Nollywood movie.
yes, exactly. And they had like
What are they
fucking
called?
who's it? Oh fuck, I can't remember her name right now. But they had like Shao Kahn, and it's just this big black guy. He's got like the little spike.
Is that the
he's got the spike
I don't
shoulders.
want peace guy?
Yeah, he goes, I don't want peace. I want problems.
Always. Yeah, I know that guy. Everybody knows that guy. That meme is like.
But no, I went to go look at some more clips, and they was like punishing Goro, and Goro's just this big fat guy, and he just stands with his shoulders out. He doesn't have extra arms. And they're like, Goro, kneel for your punishment, and Goro's like, and then he kneels down. It was the craziest thing, and it is like they in between. They're speaking. They're not speaking English, but then they are speaking English at the same time. So it's like back and forth, like a weird like Ghanaian, like I don't know what they speak in Ghana, so sorry guys. But like a weird like Spanglish thing is happening, right? And so it's like they're like speaking English in and out, and then like so the parts that where like they told Goro what to do, they told him to kneel for his punishment in English, and then like there's a lot of staring, so like they like do a lot of staring at the camera. Like,
a lot of like sound effects.
yes.
The drama.
Well, they don't have them budget, so they just be. No, but I don't think it's
It was
Ghanaian.
amazing. I loved it.
Oh,
It's
God.
this
So
other
it's like
tribe.
old
I forget
Bollywood
what the
movies,
name
too.
is. Oh, fuck, I
man.
forget.
It was so
It's like
good.
an N or something. They do martial arts too. It doesn't matter. Anyway, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, we're just sitting here talking about philosophy and movies and pissing Mitch off.
Yeah,
pretty
Mitch
much.
is not in a happy mood
He's
today.
not in a happy mood today. We told him that he needs more philosophy in his life. He doesn't believe us, but it's okay.
Not what was said. Not what was said.
Anyways, I'm just here to make content and lie on my friends. My name is Logan. I'm your host today. And always really, I don't know. I'm fucking up this intro because I'm having too much of a good time. Anyways, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Mocha Toast podcast. I'm here with my best friend Mitch. Say hi to the people, Mitch.
Nope.
All right, cool. Say hi to the people, Annie, my other best friend.
Hi, people. Oh my God, you're my best friend. I'm your best pet. Oh, shit.
Yeah, all right.
All right, now we
Can I
moving
still be
people
your
up
best
to
friend?
best friend
Can I
status.
still be your best friend?
Did I ruin it? Fuck.
Now we just moving
Damn, I had a
people up
best
to
friend,
best
now I don't.
status.
Damn it. It's a really nice 10
What
seconds.
else? Okay.
Mitch, we love you here. We all love you.
We do.
We want you to incorporate more philosophy in your life. You did the math thing, the English thing. It's now philosophy time. That's all. He wants to murder me. I keep my doors
Wants to
locked.
murder me too.
Well, you're further away than I am. Like,
I know. Thank God. Oh my God. I used to live in the same house with him for a little bit. That
oh
was,
man,
you know,
yeah.
I was
Damn.
like, I gotta go so I can keep pissing him off and I don't get hurt.
Anyways, you can find us anywhere: Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube. Just make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you get the episodes first before anybody else as soon as they come out. What do I have to talk about today? I don't know. Mitch, how you feeling today? Okay. All right.
Well, elaborate.
Yeah, elaborate. What's that? What's that feeling? Yeah. Okay. Okay. This is like talking to my cat. This is exactly how those conversations go.
This was like talking to my ex. Like,
Yeah.
all right. Great insight.
Wait, which
Jesus.
ex?
The
Damn.
most recent one. You don't have to say names, but
I'm
most
not
recent
going
one.
to. I'm just surprised.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm okay. I mean, I was up earlier than, or ready, supposed to go earlier than I had expected because Logan, for some reason, told Annie 12 after I literally told him, let's meet at 1, which we still got close to 1 anyway. But that was because of some shit I had to deal with, not because of him. But
You pushed
I'm
it
good.
to 1. Yeah.
Not on purpose. God damn it. Told y'all exactly why I was busy.
I feel like
And
you
I had good
subconsciously found an excuse to get it close
Nah,
to
I
1 as
wish.
possible.
I literally was trying to just. Well, I already explained. I don't have to explain myself.
Yes.
But like, nah. I was actually like, yeah, cool. let's go, because Annie's trying to go to the park later. So I was like, oh, all right, I guess that does work. So let me just get ready and I'll come through and shit.
Yeah, you want to come, Logan?
Wait,
Yeah, which
where?
I was gonna ask. Well, I was gonna tell
Prospect
Sarah
Park.
because I was mad at
We're
you.
going to Prospect Park for what? What are we
Okay,
doing?
not Logan, but Sarah could come.
Oh, what
Yeah,
the
Sarah
fuck?
can come.
How did fuck
I
the
don't know,
Sarah get invited?
Shut up and
I didn't
accept
get
your shit,
invited.
okay?
I just want to
Alright.
be on Mitch's side.
I'm gonna hit up Sarah
No,
and be
I'll
like, you
protect
can
from
come.
Mitch. Just don't uninvite me.
Logan's
Like,
on punishment. Logan's on punishment.
I'm on punishment.
So I'm gonna just invite
Wait,
Sarah
why?
Because I make a podcast and it's fire.
for everything that just happened this morning. From calling me and waking me up earlier than I wanted
At
to be
noon.
up,
Yeah,
and
at
then
noon.
trying to listen. I am a mentally ill man. Being up
I feel
before
you.
12
We need
o'clock
our
is a
rest.
struggle. In any case,
That's
it's not
true.
even just for that. It's for them trying to tell me I lied about telling him we were meeting at 1 today.
That was my bad. I
Like
shouldn't have
legit,
told
like
you I
no,
lied.
you said 12, and I was like, Logan, no, we legit, and I was all
Damn.
understanding too, because Logan liked to complain whenever I changed the schedule for certain reasons,
Yeah.
and then he was just like, yeah, you want to do, and I was like, yeah, man, sure, let's do 1, and then he calls me and then tells me that I'm lying
Yeah.
after me being understanding, and
did
then
do
wonders why our relationship is the way that it is. So
Damn.
I
That
love
was
you,
starts
Mitch.
from
the
one.
hell
Don't
out
say
of
that.
Mitch.
Don't say that.
and then likes to say love you out loud, which he
do.
doesn't even like to say.
What
Likes
do you
to,
mean
he
I
likes to
don't
play
like
with
say?
words.
I say that when we're together, like in
He
person.
likes to play on words. Yeah, yeah, I'm
Wow.
sure.
Breaking
In
my
any
heart right now.
case, in any
Breaking
case,
my
I'm
heart.
dealing with a lot right now, realistically speaking, and not playfully speaking. I'm actually like in a hole again. So like,
What?
I'm not in necessarily a good mood. A financial hole is not like actually serious.
I thought you
and
meant
it's
like
not
an
even
emotional hole.
my fault. I am stuck in an emotional hole. We're not going to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
I talked to someone about
Why
that. I don't
not?
have to.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've spoke about it on the show before you came enough times. Like everybody already
Yeah,
knows
yeah.
that.
This is true.
Oh, okay.
Like
All right.
no, I didn't mean that to you personally. Like, what do you mean? I meant just like I actually
no, I
already
know- I
speak
know
about
what
it
you
on the
mean.
show. But no,
Yeah.
I'm in a financial rut because of some bullshit that I had to deal with. Happy part is I'm getting a car, so that's cool.
You
Unhappy
are.
part is unhappy part is a whole bunch of bullshit happened in between that pissed me off.
Oh man.
Yeah.
In between getting the car.
Yes.
Damn.
Cars are
Yeah.
all right. Is that
No,
an
it wasn't the
expense that-
financial burden of the car. It was getting
Uh-huh.
getting the car put into my name and in insurance and shit like that.
Oh.
Getting the car itself is probably the easiest part. It was everything else in between from step
Yeah.
1.
Well, did you get
to
the car put in
step
your name?
Yeah, like I said, that's all
But then
handled
you
now.
won.
But no, I didn't because I'm in a financial rut that I shouldn't have been in coming into the car.
But you owned something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but bro, if you're in financially well, the government gonna own it soon. What you mean? Like,
Nah,
I'm sorry.
keep
Owning
hiding that
don't
car.
last
Just hide that car around.
You hide
town,
that
you know?
car next to you, yeah,
Yo,
bro.
the city
Like,
has a way of finding the fuck out of your car where that shit's
Yo.
at.
be like, hey,
Hooking
so
that
about
bitch
the
up.
money you owed us that you didn't know you owed us.
The
It's not
amount
even
of-
New York's. It's just like it was a whole bunch of bullshit getting to the car and explaining it in short detail. I had to get insurance, obviously. During the insurance process, I find out my car suspended for a ticket that was 6 years ago that they didn't tell me about until that was for a ticket that was 7 years ago that they didn't tell me about until 6 years ago.
Oh, your
That-
license.
Yes, which
my
wasn't
God.
even my car. It was a friend's car that I drove. Yet I somehow got the ticket through a a red light camera. Meaning, friend had
God.
to fuck me up in some way. So I had to go to the process of getting that unsuspended, which cost my father a lot of money. Oh, license gets unsuspended. This next one's my fault, but you don't normally think about stuff like that. I live in New York City. I don't drive like that anyway. After we got the license unsuspended, turned out my license was expired.
Oh fuck.
So after finding it was suspended, license expired. It expired my last birthday, which is why I didn't notice because I forgot. So I turned 30. Woo woo. It expired that 18th of July, and then after that, I had to go through the process of getting it exchanged renewed. So I don't even have a Florida license anymore. I have a New York State license, which is doing other things to me entirely. But
Aw,
then
I'm sorry.
after it's okay, but then after that I had to come in to see my uncle to go through different processes of trying to get insured the first time, which didn't work. So my dad had to do it and figured it out, and then I had to go through the DMV, and during that DMV process I had to go to DMV, find out I needed more shit, go back home, only to come back to my appointment that I made late just to be able to make it in time to get my license renewed.
Damn.
And then my father getting the plate cost him like $400.
Damn.
So yeah, we won in the end. But at what cost?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
At
So you don't even, the
quite
pun
a
just writes
cost.
its fucking self. Like, at what cost? And none of that cost was supposed to be involved in the process. The car's free. Uncle's just gifting me the car.
Oh, shit.
The insurance was supposed to be
That's
cheaper
good.
because I got it in. Yeah, that is good. I got the insurance in Florida. My rate was supposed to be lower, but because of this bullshit in terms of my license, in terms of the insurance not being covered, when I got charged the insurance rate, it was way higher than it was supposed to be, and I'm already behind on rent. So it's just like,
damn.
I was say my ex had that debacle with the license. He actually flew to Florida to renew his because he didn't want to get a New York license.
no, I don't blame
But
him.
then he ended up having to do it anyway because he didn't bring the right paperwork with him. So he like flew to Florida for nothing, and now has a New York license. I know. So
Not like
I feel
that,
that it
dog.
sucks.
Not like that,
Yeah.
Floridian. Because me, it was because I had already gone to Florida and just forgot. Otherwise, I probably would have renewed my license in Florida. But I mean, I've been here 10 years. It was about that time anyway. Because if I start driving and they stop me, they'll give me a ticket for having a Florida license. So,
Wait,
yeah.
what? Really?
yes. Yep.
Here?
Yeah,
In New
because you're
York?
supposed to change your
You're
license.
supposed to change your license as soon as
If
you go
you're
to
a
any other
resident,
state.
yeah.
hmm
Ew.
And if you're caught driving here and you're not like visiting, like you live somewhere, so I guess I could be lying, but like they look up enough
this is
shit, they're
fucking
gonna
America.
find
It's
out.
the same country. The fuck?
Yeah,
This
but
place
But they
where
all
you
like to make
stay
their money.
and where you stay,
Right?
where you stay, because if you were like having a transient person just in and out of a place is kind of low key dangerous.
Not if
'Cause
it's the same country.
Yeah, like
Well, not if it's a
Don't buy
country
into the
divided
scam
into
now.
multiple states.
It's a scam.
Not
it's
really.
a scam.
If you don't know where, well, scam maybe, but in terms of like peacekeeping, and I won't say policing, if someone's doing something wrong and you have no idea where they stay, and then you have to let them go, at some point, if you don't have anything to like truly keep them in prison, then they're just walking around doing shit. You have no idea where they are.
Your license
Person
is
could be
not
doing
going to keep
anything.
you in prison.
No, that's no.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what I mean.
No,
It's
but
like-
that's not what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the license then. I'm just saying it's for methods of knowing where a person or having some basis to know. Otherwise, you just have people running around in your state or neighborhood and you have no idea where you can go to find them if they've done something. Like imagine, let's say I was a drug dealer, for instance, if I'm a drug dealer and I get caught and
speaking, of course.
hypothetically speaking, yes, of course. Not that I've been contemplating that. You just, thinking. Anyway, so let's say you're a drug dealer, you get caught, and they're like, all right, where you stay. You do get off, but then they get caught again. But you didn't, or let's say you didn't have the New York State license, so they had no idea where you was. You get caught again, you get off on bail. They go looking for you, but they don't know where to look. Like, oh, he had charges. Whoa. And then they're like, imagine the FBI dude comes in and is like, all right, well, where the fuck is he? And then the fucking cheap ass fucking police officer dude who's always sitting on his ass bites in his.
donut.
Well, somewhere's like we can go look for him. I mean, yeah, but FBI is okay. But where the fuck do we start? Where has he been? You know what? Fuck it. Just give me
That's
all this. Give me all the files.
You know what you're describing to me, Mitch? A them problem. That's a them problem. That don't have
Sure,
shit
that
to
is
do
a
with
them
me.
problem. I just understand. But
Yeah.
in any, because if I was like in a neighborhood and I had let people in, like I'd want to know where you live. Like,
Well,
and
because
see,
if-
you're not thinking
All right,
hood enough.
No, listen.
You're not thinking hood
You're
enough.
a drug dealer, right? You commit a crime, right? You
Yes.
commit a crime in my city, right?
Yeah.
My
You
city.
in my city. That's where you at. Let me go find you.
All right. So moving on. You're not
Because
thinking
like
hood enough.
if your license is in Florida, you're obviously not in Florida because you committed the crime in New York.
But you could go
Wait.
back to anyway.
If you went back to Florida, you would have to either drive to Florida, which would take time,
Mm-hmm.
or you would have to fly, which means that I have enough time to stop you between there and there. I know I can't let you go through the fucking airports because I'd be like, hey, look for this person.
Okay. I mean,
So
on
you're not
some-
gonna
sure.
fly. So what
I
are you gonna
guess
do?
if you're-
Sail
if you're
to
lucky.
Florida?
Maybe.
Good.
Or like tell someone.
But how long is that gonna take you?
But yeah, but the point is to have like we know where this person is in any case. But you also not thinking hood enough because I'm also thinking, all right,
No, I'm not thinking like a cop.
where
That's
your
what I'm not
mama
thinking,
stay,
like,
where your grandma stay, or where
A-cab,
you stay.
A-cab.
Because that's literally it. It's literally like, all right, where you from? All right, cuz, where you
Who you
from?
be with?
Like, exactly. It's like low key that, even though they would never admit it. But yeah. regardless, you could get a ticket for that, and I got time for tickets. Let's start with the easy subject that I had for today.
What was that?
Speaking of subjects, which was, hey, what's your favorite subject
We
in
did that
terms
at
of
the
the four
beginning.
basic
That
ones?
was
No,
the-
we didn't
that-
actually talk about
Yeah,
that.
that was in
recording
the
like
show.
that?
Yeah,
that was
Oh,
pre.
hell yeah.
That wasn't pre-show. I thought that was pre-show.
that is
was-
pre-show, but it's in the show.
I feel like that was before the whole philosophy thing. So all that philosophy stuff is on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
All right.
yeah.
I didn't.
All right,
I
cool.
didn't care for
That's
that being
good.
in the show.
Damn,
I
he
did.
said I
I
didn't
was
care
into
for that. He said I didn't. Well, it's about
Yeah, that
20
wasn't-
minutes of the show. You want to
I
just
know,
cut
that
out
wasn't the
and
point of
put
the
20 minutes
topic,
on the
though.
back end now.
You completely hijacked the topic one, and then like that's an entirely different.
Have you been
All right,
at
well,
this?
fuck
Is there
Have you-
such a
have
thing?
You, have you listened to the show? Have you been on
I
this show
know.
before?
I don't think
I
any
do that
topic-
with every topic.
Yeah.
every topic.
No. You're not getting away with it this time. You're not getting away with it this time.
You literally got away with it. It's in the
did.
show. It happened.
It's all no. It's in the show. It's in the show, but he's not getting away with it. That's not how it usually
Oh,
works.
shit.
Just so we're clear, it's not
him
how
up,
it
beat him
usually
up.
works. But
Beat that
it is what
ass
it
up.
is. All right. Well then, fine.
Go
All right.
spank
It
that
wasn't
ass.
supposed to talk about the
Well, what's your favorite-
fucking
what's your favorite
negotiation
subject in
between
school?
philosophy. My favorite subject was science, but the question is which one do you think is most important? And the one I think is most important is history.
philosophical fucking.
And we're talking about grade school, right, Mitch?
Well, yeah, just those basic academic subjects, not the fucking like, like super out there extra ones that come from the other main ones we use. Because philosophy is a
what?
social study. But anyway,
It's not a social study.
it's a social study.
science.
I took
It's a
sociology
social
in high school,
study, which
and
is
that,
also
like,
a
changed
social
my
study.
I don't
Well,
like
yeah.
sociology.
Oh my
I
god.
loved it.
Why?
My teacher was lit. He was like,
So
"This
it's
is why
boring
the
to me.
system sucks. And it does not work in your favor." And I was like, "He sounds right. Oh shit.
Yeah, that's
He
great.
sounds right. Oh
That's
shit.
That's
I
right.
feel that. Yeah, I'm like
That
that
sounded
makes sense.
so
What the
like
fuck?
pure. You were like, yeah, I'm ready to do something now.
Yeah. Wow. This system sucks. It does not set
No, I
up
get
in
you.
the people's favor.
But no,
did have
between
that, I
what?
did
Not
have
even
something I
what
wanted to talk
sociology
about that
is.
though. To be honest,
In terms of sociology, or having pure moments that didn't end up becoming as much as you thought they would.
well, I was about to say, so you were about to find out.
Okay, well, in terms of the subjects, we're talking
He asked
English,
to ask.
English, history, math, and science.
No, I wasn't. We're not. I'm not talking about.
We'll get back to that. We promise, Mitch.
We won't. No, we won't. But it's fine.
We promise, Mitch.
Yeah. Out of here.
Anyways, no, you were just talking about social systems and things like that, and I have what is it? Like a deep dislike over the conversation about social systems and how they impact our lives because of the fact that not that I don't think they exist, but because I think that they're used as like a catch-all for like people's problems and stuff.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like,
What do you mean?
okay, let me
You
say.
don't think what exists?
No. See, that's
No,
what I'm
it's
saying.
not-
I just
that's not what he said. Yeah.
No,
I
you
think
said
they
not that-
exist. It's not that
But
I
what?
don't think they exist. That's what
It's
I
not
was
that
saying.
you don't think what exists.
Like
systems
social-
that don't work in our favor,
like systems
or?
of oppression. Yeah, like
Oh, okay,
patriarchy
okay.
and things like that. However,
got it.
I think people sometimes overemphasize how much of a system it is and how much it's people doing it, if that makes sense.
What you're saying is how much of it is societal, how much of it is the individual.
I don't like that dichotomy, but yes. So
what
we
you're
can
saying,
so we can
though,
have a place to so we
Yeah.
can have a place
Okay.
to start.
That's-
Is that
Okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've said it before on the show, but I never really explained it or actually went into it. You know what I mean?
Not as deep as you could. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit! He said you're not reaching your full potential, but
I tell him that all the
Go
time.
on.
It's okay.
This show, we're having
Speaking
so
of
much
it being
fun.
the
I'm like so
individual's
hot
fault.
right now from laughing
I
so
know, me
much.
too.
Yeah, I noticed that with y'all. I'm like, what's up? Y'all ain't got no
I'm
fan?
wearing my friend's shirt, and I'm like, I keep having to put it. I have a lot of underboob sweat. I keep putting the shirt under there, and I'm like, it's hot.
My
don't have
armpits
a
are
fan?
gone.
No.
Like it's like goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Deodorant's your friends, y'all.
I did put deodorant on today. It's just I'm just like all sweaty from laughing so much. Like
Did
I'm
you do the
hot.
No,
deodorant
underboob.
for the boob sweat? Did you get under?
I wonder
any?
if other women do that. If there are
So
any
whether-
big titty women out there who put deodorant under their titties, let us know.
and they report on
Do
the
you-
weather. Just
Yeah.
make it real specific.
Yeah, I know.
let
What
me
was
know
up
if you
with
do
that? Yo, why was it weather woman? Why was it? I don't know. That has me going insane in my head. Like, why
Before-
did she pick?
Before I move on,
Big titty
like
weather woman.
I'm drinking Arizona.
Right, with it.
and like it's drying me out. Like
Was
it's
it
like,
$1?
this is not hydrating at all. Like, it's just like, and I love Arizona. Don't get me wrong. It's just like
Was it $1 though?
I'm like trying to look
That's
for.
why it's still
I'm trying to
$1.
cool down and get some relief, and it's just like, nah. Where's the moisture in your body?
Let me have it.
Let me have it. I'm like, you're
'Cause
the,
the only
drink.
thing that can do that is water.
You're the drink. You're the moisture. What the
You're the moisture.
I used to think coffee was the adult beverage. Then I grew a little older and thought that alcohol was the adult beverage. Then
Yeah,
I
we all saw
became a
that
true,
meme.
wise, and grown man and learned for the first time ever in my life that water this entire time has been the full-grown adult beverage.
Nah.
That's how you know.
So
you're
drink
still
your
on
fucking
Facebook.
water, Logan, and stop being a pansy.
The fucking Arizona was 99 cents. I got
That's true.
I got a
So it
tall
was
boy
$1
for 99
It was
cents.
$1. Okay, I was just making sure.
That's also
Once
an
the
adult
Arizona
decision.
can goes up to like 103, we riot at
Oh, it's
dawn.
done.
Yeah.
It's
Like we
done.
riot at dawn. Oh, 103? All right, some's got to get burned down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
that's
pulling
like
up to
insulting.
Arizona.
3 cents.
I'm saying
Yeah, that's
on an Arizona, the
do
staple
that on
that hasn't
purpose, too.
changed.
Anyways, guys.
apparently it has. If it's dehydrating now,
Yeah, apparently. Yeah, my man is like, this ain't even quenching thirst no more.
he's coughing dust. Shit.
Like, how you ruining Arizona's for the audience, bro? That's the one
look
thing
like-
that's the one thing we got left.
Which one's the one with the crackhead? Is that Tyrone Bigums with the crack on his mouth? No.
Yeah. Tyrone Biggums.
Take a sip, and his lips are getting ashier somehow. The more he drinks this Arizona iced tea.
I think that's why they call it Arizona, because it's just drying you out. Like
Dry
it's drying
as
you out like
shit.
the desert.
Chilling. Like, yeah, it's Arizona seal. Yeah, it's actually been a setup all this time. We just wanted you to feel what it's like living here. Yeah, how's desert feel, you bastards? Help us get some fucking water into our. We're going through a fucking drought. Why don't you buy more Arizonas?
Crazy.
Empathize with us a little bit.
Crazy shit.
Now, a word from our sponsors.
Systems of oppression.
Exactly. I think this is
Brought to
tied
you by
together really well.
Arizona.
Brought to you by Arizona. The oppressive heat in the Arizona desert, trapped in every can.
Either you're gonna help us hydrate, or you're gonna die with us, bitch.
Yeah, right. That's the tagline.
Buy a can.
Now $1.03.
No, Mitch, what I was talking about before was so you were saying, like, you know, it's either there's like a system of oppression or it's like individuals that are to fault, like for like racism or patriarchy and things like that.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's just like, for some reason, I feel like that's a weird like argument that people have made up, like to try to like be like, oh, it's not this, it's that, or no, it's not this, it's that, or it's like to like be to like your political opponents. Oh, you like to talk about this, but I like to talk about that. You know what I mean? Like you like to talk about like how it's systemic oppression, but I like to talk about individual level oppression. You know what I mean? And it's just, I feel like it's such a broken way to talk about something. It's not very productive, you know, to frame it that way, because of the fact that I like to talk about patriarchy a lot, because I think it removes me from the conversation as far as like,
Your own responsibility.
no. Actually, quite the opposite. I feel like it removes me from the conversation of like, oh, you experience oppression, so that like it's something you can't talk about. Like the way like whenever like a black person talks about racism, I feel like there's a thing where it gets taken with a grain of salt of like seriousness. You know what I
Because
mean?
they're black.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
I get what
exactly
you're saying.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like it's like, oh well, you're black, of course you're going to talk
Like-
about racism.
Like
you
if
know
a
what I
black
mean?
person is experiencing racism by a person in the moment and they
Mhm.
speak up about it, it's like, you know, the person's going to roll their eyes. But if a white
Right.
person cuts in and has their back and stands up for them, then it's a whole different, then it's like, almost like a real issue being seen
Right.
happening. Because,
Exactly.
yeah, I get that.
Okay, I
It's
understand the
it's a
point
shitty-
you made, Annie. In terms of what you're explaining, though, Logan, I think you need to elaborate because it's still kind of vague.
No,
The point
well,
she made, yeah, but what you're trying to say in
good,
terms
yeah.
of the argument, how the arguments are used against each other, is that what you're saying? How, because you used
no,
politicians
no.
and you were
What-
like,
what I was gonna say
yeah,
was
elaborate
that,
more.
No, what I was gonna say is that I like to talk about patriarchy because I know a little bit, but like I like to talk about it in a way that like people listen. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
even now, trying to use that as an example, like people will say that like patriarchy is systemic, right? And
Mhm.
like, if we could break the system where it's like, and it usually ends up in some weird place where it's like, it has to do with like multinational corporations and the government and everything. And it's like, if we could just fix these billionaires, or we fix the government, or like fix these type of things that uphold the system, like these things would go away. And that's not necessarily
Right,
true.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, patriarchy isn't built off of what Joe Biden or Donald Trump did that day. Like, it's not built off of like.
So you don't think that like dismantling it from the top would be as a really good first step in being able to dismantle it going down? Because you're right, it is like a larger issue. But it also comes down to an individual issue also. But it starts at the top, because at the top is our influence, right? It's what we see as its leadership. It's what we're seeing as a reflection of what the rest of us are like. That's why the people in the world, these Trump supporters or whatever, kind of came out the woodwork and everyone is filled with so much hate and anger and distrust, because that's what it looked like at the top. And it said, oh, that's what a reflection of we are. And then it trickled down. That influence trickled down. So if the patriarchy and all these other larger, bad things are going on in a societal system, black people are only getting jobs in this percentage of companies and this and that. And if that's dismantled and we see more people that look like us in leadership, then wouldn't that also result in the individual issues being, also being better? Because the system no longer looks black and white. Now it looks like us. So we can't, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm not. I can't. Yeah.
When we get to the point where we're talking about like the presidency and like our world leaders and like things like that, I think we're way, way late to the conversation. And I think that when it comes to like dismantling certain systems, you can't start at the top. I don't really know much things when you destroy them, you start at like the tippy top of them. You know what I mean? Like when you like level a building, you always start at the bottom. Like, like you start,
right.
Yeah, you wire the thing from the bottom to the top, and then you like put your dynamite down and then boom, and then it comes down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't blow the top of the building off first and then like be like, oh, well, got more top of the building
Good
to blow
job
up.
today,
You know what I
guys.
mean?
Sweet.
It is the foundation, right? You're creating the foundation of it. The foundation of every structure is the, what is it?
The bottom.
the bottom.
Base is, well, the foundation of every structure, Annie, is funny enough actually the foundation. The foundation like of a building like is legit the foundation. That's what it's called. Like the base is called the foundation.
Well,
so
yeah,
that's
I
what I'm
understand
saying.
That. Yeah.
That's
So
why.
that's what I mean is that like to talk about like it becomes this thing where it's like, well, I got rid of Donald Trump, but racism didn't stop. You know what I mean? And that's because that's not where it came from. It's like we were given a choice. You know what I mean? Like people are given a choice. Like Donald Trump wasn't the only Republican that ran for president. Like there was like 20 of them. You know what I mean? And he just happened to say the things that the people that were going to vote for him liked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He was the loudest.
He's the loudest. He was the person that basically all the fucked up shit he said, they liked enough to give him a block of voters that were going to push him along into like the nomination, into like the presidency. Like, and he's supported. Yeah, he's supported by like millions and millions and millions of other people that saw either nothing wrong or not enough wrong not to make him the most powerful person in the world. You know what I mean? So like underneath all of that, right, is a bunch of people that like they have their own beliefs and they like, okay, let me take this for example. If you live in a place with a lot of Trump supporters, right? If you live like in Central Florida, for example, where I used to live, it's like you live with these people and you live with their ideas. And Donald Trump might never see them. And you might never see Donald Trump, but you see them every day.
Yeah.
So like all their little sexist opinions or racist opinions or whatever, or even homophobic opinions, if you're gay, you have to come in contact with that every day. If you're black, you have to come in contact with that every day. If you're like a woman, you have to deal with that every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't tell somebody, just change the president and things are going to be better. I feel like it's a thing that keeps us so far removed from the problem that like the solution to it doesn't actually solve the thing. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
it's kind of like I feel like it's almost like a trap to be like we need to dismantle these giant systems when it's like it's not even well defined what the system is. Like I can't say
Okay.
go ahead, Mitch.
Well, no, I was actually just finally getting to the heart of what you're trying to talk about because everything right now so far has been like more examples. So what it sounds like to me in the moment in terms, so you're having this like, here are these systems of oppression, and we're thinking we had to take them out at the top. When in truth, there's all these individuals who still think for themselves. But what I wanted to say is, to me, it sounds like the argument. First, let me explain this.
Yeah.
So we're talking about system of oppressions and therefore talking about society. And we're talking about societal influence versus individual influence in one sense. Now, the thing is, it's not a direct line to either or. Like it never has been. I don't know. Well, I don't even know if it's saying just direct, but it's never a clean line to either space. You don't go from said system of oppression affecting us to the individual like in a clean way. It's always like a bit of a mess. The fact is people think how they think, but they're affected by the way other people are thinking around them.
Yes.
This is how it's always
Exactly.
been.
Yes.
This is how it may always be unless you're actually willing, and you have to have the awareness as well. This isn't just about like the system itself, it's about the awareness of the individual too, because the only way to really, because you're going, because the way you first explained it was trying to use an argument being like people using a system of oppression as a catch-all. The reason I got that is because you were going, oh, if this is how one person is affected by the system, that's basically everyone, and everyone's story is the same, but everyone's story isn't the same because we're all having different experiences.
No, that's not what I meant by catch-all, but I understand what you mean by that. Yeah.
What did you mean by catch-all though?
I meant a catch-all as in that, like, not that this is something that encompasses everyone, but as in, like, my argument is good enough to, like,
Stand
umbrella
up for
all
everyone?
these issues.
Okay.
Like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense too. In either case, it's like it's hard to, because what I was going to tell you was like, I don't even know if we could bring this down because that's really complex, because what you are talking about is the individual meeting society and the interchange between society and that individual. The only way to ever stop that from happening is for each individual to be on such a level of awareness that it would literally be impossible for anyone who gets caught in such situation that you're talking about to even acknowledge it, because they'd be like, no, we're not going to have the conversation like that because we're aware now. So it's not about the fact that racism can affect black people. It's about me understanding how racism affects black people and taking that in as an individual, and then talking to you as the individual in whatever way you're affected, and us trying to have a genuine conversation on what our problem is.
Which is what leads actually into my next point, which is that I don't think we should. I think we should move the conversation away from systems and away from like this whole idea of individuality and towards like looking at these problems as cultural problems, like looking at these problems as problems of culture instead of like these. I feel like systems are like boogeymen. Like they don't.
So then,
I mean, I feel like
yeah.
they're unreachable in a way. I feel like I can like when you have like workplace culture or something, like a company has a scandal where like women are getting harassed and every day or something. Like what they'll say is like, this was the culture there. This was the culture in this company where like women were always being touched and breathed on and like all this other shit. And it's like, this was what would happen to you if you was a woman in this space. And what is understood is that like, this is how people were living within this environment. This was the culture that supported this thing happening in the first place, or allowed it and tolerated it to happen in the first place. That's what I'm saying, is that like, I feel like a lot of the time, yeah, go ahead.
So you don't think that's also a system?
It's not
like
that I don't.
A higher system, because the culture is set that way because of the people who created that culture.
But where
which
in the
were put there.
Yes, but where in the rules of that system, like where when you sign up for work, it says like when you sign your little contract that says like how long you're gonna like how much you're gonna get paid and everything. Where in that paperwork does it say, oh, by the way, Jeff is probably gonna breathe on you every Tuesday, you know, and he's probably gonna fill you up. You know what I mean?
A technicality. They're gonna get away with it.
No, it's not a technicality because
rules,
it's like nobody's supposed to like.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
You're saying that's how it's not a system.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Well, not the way the system should be working.
It's culture because it's unwritten.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the thing about culture, though, so we're talking about you can't remove because culture isn't about the individual just the individual in the first place, because culture is whether it be like official or non-official. I don't mean in that sense. I was going to talk about the way culture works and the fact that it's the negotiation between us as individuals, and that culture becomes whatever we, as everyone involved in that culture, has now negotiated, chooses. Because remember, culture is a broad term, just similar to philosophy. Culture is a broad term that encompasses. Let's start religion, law. Social status, things like that, work, even the work culture you talked about is taught of culture. Yes.
So, Logan, if you're saying that, for instance, a systemic solution, right, quote solution would be like, like the police departments, right, clearing that out, retraining them, giving them sensitivity training, all that other stuff. What would like a cultural solution be? If you're saying we should stop focusing on the top system and focus culturally, what would that look like?
My solution would be like to figure out what is the culture surrounding the society of that police department, because to me systems are just culture formalized. You know what I mean? Like a system is just what you are able to put on paper. Like a system is like the presidency, like you were saying earlier. Like a system is like how you run your government and stuff. But all these things happen at the back end. They don't happen at the front. You know what I mean? We have elections before we have the presidency. And then before we have those elections, we have like campaigns and all this other stuff. We have like people with their own opinions every day about like how we should treat the person who doesn't quite look like us in those societies. Like we have, like there's so much stuff that happens before we even get to the part where we're talking about, well, this is how the police department shouldn't beat people anymore. Like all these things are happening. And then to like take that at the end and be like, you know what? The police department shouldn't beat people anymore. Right. And then just like put that on the police department and then not look at like, there was a whole like community that was enabling them to do that in the first place.
Right.
There was a whole community that like propped them up and like set them up to be like, hey, fuck these people up over here. You know what I mean? Like, and then one thing I always notice when I see like videos of like police brutality is like the police are always like, I mean, it's really shitty, but like I always take note of it. Like the police always say like, we were just doing our jobs. What, you don't want us to do our fucking jobs anymore?
Right. That's true.
Like to me, it's like fucked up, but at the same time, I feel like they're right because like their definition of their job is what they was told their job was.
No, they
you know
are
what
right.
I mean?
Sadly, they actually
so
are.
It's like if you're told that this is what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to be roughing up black people on the street, and banging them up and shit. Like
what the hell else
you're
you
like being like, this is my job. This is what you told me to fucking do. Mm-hmm. And now you're telling me that this just isn't my job anymore. Like this just isn't what I'm supposed to do when I have like thousands of hours of training, whether that's formal training or not, to do this thing. You know what I mean?
Mind you, most police ain't even as smart as they should be in the first place to even comprehend that, because it is as simple as this is what I was. And since now we're on an example, if we're going to talk about the policing institution, do understand when they do bring these trainees in, I hope things have gotten better, particularly in the NYPD. But nonetheless, when they bring these police in, they are trained to not look at people as people. They are trained to be aware of their environment, because at any moment, something could come along that's hazardous to your well-being or the well-being of your fellow officers. Yes, insane. I know. Roll your eyes, because go ahead.
Is to fucking like protect the people, not your.
No, that's what they sell us.
I know. But it's like
yes, but if you have like okay, now you have a whole
It's
culture
crazy.
that like supports you in that endeavor.
Yeah, go blue.
Nobody is like safe. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like I just saw a video the other day where the cops they were shooting at a suspect, and like when they were shooting literally into a crowd of people that had nothing to do with that shit.
Yeah.
Ew. So was suspect armed?
I don't know,
Not
but
even
at the
supposed to do
same
that.
time, like
Cops
you're not
are.
supposed to do that either way. You know what I mean? That doesn't de-escalate the situation. You can't
Regardless
just
of-
like turn
yeah.
like your little town into downtown Beirut just because like you felt like you had to go like I don't know, be John Rambo or some shit. Like that's not what you're supposed to do with our towns and stuff. And like it wasn't like they was like shooting into a crowd of just like they even like to say it that way, but like it wasn't like it was just a bunch of black people there and they was like, oh well, fuck it, I'm
crowd
hitting
of
somebody
people.
who's a criminal. Like it was like a mixed crowd of people, and like people were like, whoa, what the fuck? What are you doing? You know what I mean? And so like the police the next day were like, they were completely justified in their actions, and it's just like, so it's like,
crazy.
yeah, that's insane, right? But I think about like, how do you get to that point? Like, how do you get to the point where it doesn't even make you like second guess anything you're doing? You know what I mean?
Well, when it happens a lot, when you're used to it. Like right now, mass murder doesn't need to be like when the Columbine thing, this Columbine shooting happened a couple decades ago. That was like the biggest thing in the world. They talked about it forever. Now school shootings happen every week, and we've been desensitized. There was a school shooting that happened, and the classes resumed the same day.
Yeah.
I forgot where because there's just so many, but I think that was this year. I read about it.
Yeah.
Or that classes resumed the same day, and it's like when you're desensitized and mass murder doesn't even need to have some sort of rhyme or reason anymore. Now it could be like it just happens because the kids that are involved in it, that's what they know. It's normalized for them. It still wasn't normalized for us growing up in that, but it's normalized for them. So when cops are normalizing, or when they're now in a place where it's normal for them to be caught in the fire of some bad shit they did, and they're used to giving these excuses, they're just going to continue to give these excuses. If they're not being held accountable and all this terrible things keep happening and they're not being held accountable, what are they going to do? They're going to keep doing what they're doing.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, the thing I noticed the most is like when I look at like conservatives and stuff, like they're always talking about like culture. Like they don't like when they talk about shit that they don't like, they don't say like the fucking school system is like systemically like making kids gay. They're like, no, like you're going to school and like they're trying to indoctrinate your children. Like they like use language that like keys into the social aspect of people and how people live their lives because of the fact that like when people go to vote, it's people who are living their lives that vote, not people who are part of a system.
Right,
or who even believe themselves as part of a system. You know what I mean? So like we have a tendency to talk about racism in a way that like, racism is systemic. Racism is this thing where like it's a systemic oppression against brown and black peoples and things like that.
No matter what I do, I'm always going to be, I can't move forward because of this, where you're saying that shouldn't be the case.
Well, not even that, but it's like a sanitized way in which we talk about it. We talk about it in a sterile type way where it's like almost like this cold machine where it's like it's so detached from like somebody who may be a part of its life, but it's also in a way that like it also removes a lot of the agency from the people who are involved because we're not talking about it in a human way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a great point. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So you're not talking about it in a way that like, and some people do, but like it feels like when we talk about it in this way, when we talk about it in the systemic way, we don't talk like I get so bored sometimes because it's like I need the part that's human. I need the part that like matters to like everyday people and how everyday people are living. Because like usually the goal is like, oh, we want this person to change. We want like to see change. We want you to vote this way or do this and that. But at the same time, it's like the person opposite you is talking about real human shit and they're connecting to those people like we don't
winning.
like and they're winning that way, you know what I mean? Like that's how like you have somebody like Trump because like they're like he says what everybody's thinking. It's like, I'm not thinking about that racist shit.
Yeah.
But like the person who is, he's talking to them. You know what I mean? So
and that's
it's
why
like,
they like it.
yeah, and it's like, I don't think like liberal guilt is enough to be like, yeah, I should make a change. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, it
but it's
doesn't
really the
affect.
system.
Well, it's shown
Yeah.
it's not. It's
Yeah,
been
so
shown
it's like-
historically that it's not enough to. Liberal guilt's nice and all that, but not an effective tool of change for anyone
Yeah, exactly.
at all. No, unfortunately, no offense, but like conservative. Listen, white supremacy don't care about your guilt. White supremacy don't give a fuck about you being like, hey, you should feel bad about these systems. White supremacy is like, okay,
also why
that's good propaganda.
It's also why Democrats can't get anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Would you? Because
Yeah.
we're not making anything happen because we're
Same
yelling
principle.
all these huge, all these top tier, like you said, big cold machine up in the sky that is completely detached from our own individual lives, even though it's not. But it is the way we
Right.
talk about it. Let's get this big thing done, and it's like we're setting unattainable goals for ourselves.
Right.
It's
You
more
know?
of like a social campaign for them. And the problem is, so we're having this issue where we're like, all right, there's these big systems and they're affecting these people, but the bigger problem is actually being able to get to the people in a sense where it's just like we're trying to attack the effects of the system. That's why when I brought up awareness earlier, it was just like there's not much you could do. Because I was telling Logan earlier, Annie, I was saying that, it's messy. It's not a direct line between society and individual. It's not clean. A person is
Yeah.
affected this one way, and then they act in a certain way amongst their society, and it's like a back and forth like that in a very random, sporadic instance.
Right.
There isn't much you can do for that except really to educate mostly and then do something. And we usually get stuck. We can educate all day. That's not really the hardest thing. Sometimes there isn't like budget in terms of like schools, but that's not actually the hardest thing to educate people. The hardest thing is making people do things. How do you motivate someone to do something? Because the problem we're having,
You speak
if
their
you
language.
well, and
is what
whatever
Trump did.
whatever that may mean, yeah, exactly whatever that may mean.
Spoke their
But
language, and they were
Well,
like, "Heard."
you make a safe space for what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? This is crazy.
This isn't
look
what
at
I
this crap
mean.
here.
This isn't what I mean at all.
See, that's what I mean. Like in the workplace, is that acceptable?
It should be,
It
Derek.
is
like,
now.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like you got
It is
naked
these
people
days.
walking around. Like
That can't be unacceptable now.
I love this so much.
Take it out.
I love this so much.
For those of you
Tell
who
that
can't
man I got
see.
$50 for him right now. What's
Yeah.
in that? What's underneath that
$50
towel?
right now.
I meant like if we were shooting video, like somebody would be like,
That would've
Logan,
been
Oh, this
great.
is gold.
somebody would be
Yeah.
like, wow, Logan wants to be Howard Stern so bad. Like it'd just be like,
Which would have made it even better. That would have made
Like-
it even better. I'd be like, this is great.
anyways.
But no, seriously. But
no,
like,
like I take your point. Like, like how do you even get there where like people are like, but like you have to like be able to be like, this is acceptable, this isn't, right? And I feel like we don't define that enough, and we don't like try to bridge that gap with that.
I
Like,
disagree.
no, I feel that way because I feel like I just watched something the
No, I have
other
a
day.
point to make, but keep going.
Okay, no, I won't actually.
No,
right
no,
now-
you want
down,
to
Mitch.
you want to hear why I disagree?
I wanna hear why you
So you were
disagree.
like,
Okay.
we don't do. You were like, we don't do that, and I'm like, I disagree because it's like it's what I said about being sold something. No,
Mm-hmm.
you go into every space and someone may, especially now in this political climate, everybody's going, hey, this is what we should be doing. This is what's right, and this is what's wrong. The problem is getting people to comply. That's always the problem to me.
But that's what I'm saying. That's not real then, because if you can,
Of course
like,
not, but that is the
like,
case.
No, because like I can do that too. It's like I can be like, hey,
Yeah.
this is the rule. I don't think that this should happen, right? You're not allowed to do this here. But if you don't fucking listen to the rule, that rule doesn't exist.
No, well,
You know what I mean?
we're technically not actually disagreeing, but yes, that's why I say that, because it's like that is the point. It isn't the fact of necessarily, because you're right. You could make a rule. We have the podcast right now. You have a certain set of rules. If me and Annie don't comply, that's on us. But the point isn't to be like, well, how do I make the best rules? That's what I mean. It isn't really necessarily about the rules.
Right.
It's what do I do that makes people comply without me being some authoritarian force.
You would
'Cause
have
if
to
we
speak their
wanna-
language. You would have to
Well, yeah.
understand the way they would accept it. You would have to say it in terms that they agree with, even if it distorts the message a little. In
I
your
Now
think-
it's
opinion.
the
I think I'm-
agrees with part
I think
where we
I'm-
have issue.
being too big brain about it when it just comes down to like
Big
what
brain.
like I think it just comes
You know you
down
don't
to
know.
Brain
like
hurt.
what what you agree with your friends and stuff is like, you know, like, do we tolerate racism in our in our friend group? You know what I mean? And it's like, no, you know what I mean? Or maybe we do. Like, maybe we don't mind racist comments here and there. Like, what do you do within your friend group that, like, you, like, even to the audience, like, think about it. What do you do and what do you tolerate within your friend group? You know what I mean? What do you actually tolerate? Like, if somebody were to say a racist comment or something that was sexist, like, do you, like, allow it? Do you feel like, oh, it's just a joke, it doesn't really matter? Like, all of that is cultured. All of that is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And so if we don't talk about that in a way that's productive and we're not able to, like, really explain that, then we can't really actually get the change that is, like, established for what we need. Because what we're doing is, when we're trying to be progressive or whatever, it's like what we're doing is we're taking things out of people's culture and being like, hey, you can't be racist anymore. Hey, you can't be sexist anymore, when this is, like, part of people's culture. And we don't want to say that part out loud. You know what I mean? Like, racism is, like, inherent to, like, American culture in a lot of ways. But we don't want to say that, like, anybody is racist either. So we'd be like, oh, well, this is a systemic issue and redlining and all this and that and Ta-Nehisi Coates. And, like, we want to talk about all these things in, like, a highbrow way. But then when it comes to, like, people in, like, fucking West Virginia or some shit, they're like, listen, the opioid epidemic, and we don't want to talk about it, and we don't want to talk about people who are actually racist or, like, have a problem of racism in their culture or their society or even their community. We don't want to talk about that, because then we'd be talking about real people again. And real people are the people that vote, and we need people's votes. But it's like, there are people in those communities that are affected by those issues, and you not wanting to talk about that just removes the pain from the conversation of the people who are actually experiencing that.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean is, like,
Preach.
sometimes we get to this point where it's like we talk about systems to where, like, not even talking about people, when we should maybe maybe that's the point. Maybe they don't want to. Maybe we should. I'm saying that we should look at culture more, and we should look at, like, how, like, culture affects people and how, like, you know, do you have a culture of racism in your community? Do you have a culture of sexism in your community? Do you have a culture of homophobia or transphobia in your community? You know, it's not to, like, take a checklist and, like, exempt people from certain conversations, but just so people could be aware of, like, where harm is coming from and who is being harmed, and, like, to think about people as people that live in your community and, like, who actually exist in your community, and not just people
that
who are
do
affect
and your day-to-day life.
Exactly. Not just theoretical people that theoretically are affected by racism or patriarchy or whatever. Like, people who are actually real. Because, like, when we're not talking about that and we're just talking about people as if, like, they're just, like, whatever, like, they're just a data point, you know, then it's like, I don't want to help a data point. Like it's like that. It's like, I don't give a fuck about that. Right. You know what I mean? But if you actually know somebody, and you can actually, even if you don't know somebody, like, if you feel like you do, and you feel like they're a person that's going through these things, then you might actually want to do something about it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I took a long time to say all that.
No,
and he wanted to talk about,
because you don't have a big brain.
No, I'm just
Who doesn't have a big brain?
No, that was just. Okay.
He's just being mean. Anyways, Annie wanted to ask me and Mitch if we had sisters.
Oh, I forgot.
Do either of you have younger sisters?
I do not.
No.
Oh, good. It's a perfect question.
Go ahead. Why don't you ask the question, Annie?
If either of you had a younger sister. So you're both, like, 30, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you had, like, a 25-year-old sister, would you let your friends hit?
Let my friends. So here's the funny thing. So here's the funny thing, because it's like, because at this point, whether she is my younger sister and I love her. Maybe if you're talking about older brother, the answer would be different. But to me, you're talking about two grown ass people. Now, am I gonna want her to be messing around with my friends if I know them and I don't think they'd be good for her?
Would you
Probably
let me
not.
date your sister?
Mature of an answer.
Would I
Yeah.
let you date my sister?
Yeah.
I
just
would
hit.
euthanize her rather than allowing you to enter my family
Oh,
list.
shit. There we go. There we go. Now we're getting the cream of the
Like
Twinkie.
I had to stop him there because I saw where he was going. He was like, "They're two grown people and like their choices."
I
I'm
know,
like,
it's
"Nah."
like-
No,
That's
stupid.
not it,
Obviously,
though. Get out
I
of
wouldn't
here. Yeah.
actually care. That was
That's
a
why I
joke.
said you're friends.
No, in truth, it depends on my sister. It's what she wants. She's gonna get a talking to from me about,
Right.
hey,
Boo.
is
What
this
about
what
you?
you want?
Would you let
But
me fuck your
otherwise,
sister?
yeah. Wait, when did it become you?
I said friends. I'm your friend.
Right. Okay.
And I'm trying to,
true.
Yeah.
Okay.
You talk shit about me being a Scorpio all the time and doing all this shit. Now, knowing what you may know about me, would you let me hit your baby little sister?
You can't get her pregnant, so yeah, go ahead.
I could probably do whatever I want. If I figure a way out.
Can't get her pregnant. Next thing you know, and he ends up fucking
One
her in
night-
like an
Bed.
insemination
One
office.
night, Anya comes by. She's like, "I got this
Guess what?
Cambodian sperm off the black market. What you
You know
want
what
to
I'm
do?"
saying?
Uh-huh.
You trying to
you
have
want a
this baby
baby?
girl? Like I put an egg in, you know what I'm saying? You
I
can
got
hold it,
you.
you know what I mean? Come up to the parents like, imagine that conservative parents' family. Like, how the fuck did this even happen? And you just sitting there like, well, you know, I
got
gotta
my
like
ways.
that, player. You know what I'm saying? Either way, we having this baby, you're gonna be
You
part of
wanna
this life
find
or
out?
not.
I got
Oh
a
my
price.
God.
No, that's too old. Like she's 25. Like you gonna get the advice. I'm gonna talk to my boy. But if she like, yo, I want to do this. At that point, to be honest, too, because I've always kind of been like, mind you, I was raised in like the traditional Haitian mindset and the way Haitian women, and it's similar to your experience, Annie. So the way Haitian women is like raised is completely unfair. So like I couldn't even like treat her like that because she's too used to that.
You have too much guilt to not let her make her own
My
decisions.
cousin
That's
Alicia,
true.
my
That's
little
good.
cousin, like, you know, she
Yeah.
like, to be honest, she'd be telling me stuff. She'd be bringing dudes in all the time. I check them low key, not even real, but low key, just to be like,
Yeah.
she got hitters out here, low key. But
probably-
then her, like, I'm just like, yo, so what's up with this one? What you trying to do? And she doing her own thing. And when because remember, I came here at 19. So when I was 19, I'd be like super overprotective because she was way younger. Like, hey, don't hurt yourself. Me giving her conversations about like, yo, men are evil. They will hurt you. Is this what you want? But she's her own person still and has to go live her life. So I literally she was what having a little sister started feeling like. I was like, this is so annoying, but I love her to tears. So it's like I could either put her in a fucking chastity belt and lock her in a basement, which I don't think, that doesn't sound too good to me. Does it sound good to y'all? Don't sound good to me. Or
teach men to not be fucking monsters.
well, I can't do that one because I don't have
You do.
I don't
You have
have the
plenty of male
resources.
allies and friends.
No,
But,
I
you
mean
know,
I
I know
can
what
do
you
my
mean. Go ahead.
piece, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. I wish I had that power. Everything would be fixed already.
Just father all men.
Like, be like,
always-
listen, sons, you're pathetic.
I always find this conversation
We're gonna
so
do better.
interesting because, like, guys will be like, if it is their little sister or like their little cousin, like Mitch said, or somebody like that, they'd be like, yo, you need to watch out. Men are dogs. Men are gross. Men are do this. But then, like, let somebody be like, yo, men are trash. They'd be like, what you mean? Like, we're like,
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know
every
me.
time.
You know where I'm from. You don't know what the things that I've done.
And it was
which
kind
are
of weird.
trash
It was
men.
kind of weird because I've had that conversation out here. I've been like, men are trash before. And then like Mitch and Claire got on me and they're like, nah. And then like,
Logan,
Mitch is like,
Logan, you
men
don't
are
get to do
evil.
that.
And I'm
Logan, you don't
just
get to do
like,
that. Because everyone on the show knows you just antagonistically
don't.
stir bullshit. You don't be asking. Like, me and Claire know you, so you'd be like, yo, and it's like, wait, Logan, we're trying, especially when you did it then, because we were trying to have like nuanced, specific conversations, and this nigga just gonna be, and it's like, Logan, where did that come from? You heard why did you even say it like that? Just to be that guy? That's not how we meant it. You know that. Fuck you, bro. Why would you even say that?
I'm just
I'm
saying.
gonna get Claire on the line right now, actually.
I'm
Oh,
just
shit.
saying.
Get up,
Call
Claire. Be like, how
Call
you
her
doing? Be like, Logan on his bullshit again, Claire. Come talk to your nigga.
I'm just saying, men are trash. And
You see where I'm
it's
talking
been
about?
confirmed by
Sang
Mitch.
it, baby.
It's been confirmed by Mitch. And
Wait, don't use me as a cosign, damn it.
we waited 6 months for this, guys, but we made it. We made it. We're here now.
Finally
We finally made
finally
it.
admitted.
Finally
So
admitted
anyway,
men are
back to the
trash.
point that
Oh, man,
Logan
not
was
me, though.
trying to make.
No, man,
back to-
not me though.
back to the point Logan tries to make. That is true though. Men do get like that, but like once you've come to
Because,
a place
like,
of
that's-
awareness, like
It's like, why would she have anything to worry about if men weren't trash?
well,
Yeah.
it's a more complicated story.
I don't think so. I don't think it's that complicated. Thank you, Andy. Is it?
It's a little more complicated.
Do we
a little more
tolerate
complicated.
sexism within our own friend groups?
Ooh.
Join us now.
Ooh. I think
Oh, so
that's
y'all think
literally
y'all
at the
gonna come
core
for
of
me?
this conversation.
I
Y'all
think
y'all
so, it
gonna
is.
come for me? Okay. All right. Y'all think y'all just gonna come for me on the show? You
That's all right,
motherfuckers.
Mitch.
Hold on. Let me get my
Mitch,
imaginary
nobody
cigarette.
came for you. Mitch,
Sorry,
nobody
Mitch.
came for you.
This is just
I'll
like
have
the
cases
Shit on
open
Mitch
on all
podcast.
y'all. Jake!
You-
Jake! You motherfuckers think you could do this to me? To me? Yo, Jake! King
Gonna bring your
Kong
boys
ain't
through?
got nothing. No. But realistically speaking, it's a serious problem. Sure, men are trash, but that's only the simple answer. Because why are men trash is where we never get to. So now we're not doing anything to actually, we're not finding solutions. We're just pointing out the problem, which is nice, Logan and Annie, but does
But
shit
men
for
can't even
nobody,
admit
including
to the
women.
problem.
Well, I know, which is
They're
the
all a
first
bunch
part
of
of the
whinies.
solution. But like just
shouldn't
saying like,
everybody be able to admit to the problem first to be like, we could solve the problem? Like, how can you solve a problem that you don't think you have?
okay, well that's true. Yeah, admit to the problem. But if we just stop at like here, then we don't know what else to do because it's like, sure, I could tell that to my little cousin, for instance, which
I don't think
told
so.
her.
I think if you kept going, if you was like, man, I'm trash, I think people will keep telling you what else to do. I think
I'm
that's part of the
trash.
problem. I think
But that's
people are
not what
kind
we
of
do.
afraid that they'll hear more than they want to do later on.
But that, sadly, that isn't what we do. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation to begin with. Because and I'm talking men and women. Because I'll tell
What do
my
you mean
cousin
that isn't what we do? What isn't what we do?
in terms of, so we call out the problem, and for this instance, we're like, men are trash, which is cool, and we would continue the conversation, but like, other than the men who are ignorant and don't listen in the first place, that's not going to help. So what's the solution to getting those men to stop? Because the problem isn't with the men who understand that. The problem is with the men who don't.
how many men actually understand that though? Like,
Not
where's the
enough.
consensus? Like, that's what I'm saying.
We don't know those numbers.
the
Let me
population
do some
grows.
research. I'll see if I can find those numbers for
The
you.
population of them grows as generations go along. I will say that. I like what
Okay.
I
That's
see
fair.
in some,
No,
Okay.
that's absolutely
some
fair.
of these
Yeah.
Gen Z boys. I will say that.
Okay,
No, same.
that's good.
Honestly,
Even some
That
entirely
gives
true.
me
millennial men.
hope.
Yeah. for
No,
sure.
oh, I thought you meant that in the reverse.
What do you mean?
I thought you meant that men in the further generations are still growing problematic,
no,
which
no.
I agreed with.
No. The well, yeah, obvious. There's always going to be problematic, but I think
No, but I
the
thought that's what I thought we were
population
talking
of-
about. Yeah.
of better men, like
No,
more
yeah, also
self-aware
true.
men who are that population is growing as the generations go on.
Mm-hmm. But fuck them. We're not talking about them. Sorry, that's not a
Oh, we're not talking about
Yeah,
the,
fuck.
the
All right, move that
healthy-minded
shit
ones?
to the side. We ain't talking about those ones. We don't have
Where
problems
my
with them.
toxic bull? Where my what's that guy? I don't even want to say this guy. Bleep out this guy's name. Boys. I just learned
You don't have to
about
bleep out his name.
I
like
was
that.
gonna.
That's
Or he might
about-
try to sue us. We could use
I was
the money,
gonna
though.
talk about
it. No,
Andrew Tate.
I don't want to say his name because I don't want to give him any more like
No, I feel you. Yeah,
airplay.
yeah,
That's what
okay.
I mean.
Yeah. Cool.
Annie, he's got the airplay. Like,
I know.
Shut
but
up.
he's
Annie
banned
said
off
she
of
didn't
all
want to give
these
him more.
platforms.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't.
Just
I-
blank
we
out the
don't have to
goddamn name.
contribute to it,
Goddamn.
But
Goddamn.
I
whatever.
mean, I guess, but like,
Requests were made. You gonna listen or you gotta mansplain again?
no, I'm just
Or
saying.
like,
It's just my opinion. It's not even
Man
a
your
man's
mate.
It's like, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Man
but,
Drew
no,
mate.
but so
Man
those
Drew
men
mate.
aren't the issue. But how do we get to how and talking back to our old subject in terms of compliance and building a culture that works for us? How do we speak the language of the ignorant motherfucker who doesn't understand that men are trash? Isn't even a statement
Like
about
Charlemagne?
him, the individual, which is why he shouldn't even get defense. Wait, what'd you say?
She said like Charlemagne.
I'm not. We're
it
not.
back.
I don't have
All
time.
right, sorry, continue.
Yeah, that's a callback.
I don't have time. I don't have time.
Here's
but
my
in any
problem.
case, like,
Here's my problem. It's not the conscience of like the worst element of men that I really worry about on a day to day is
Oh,
the
really?
conscience of ourselves that say we care about that type of shit. And I feel like there's no type of fucking resolve to be like, hey, like this is a problem. Let's treat it seriously as a problem. Like, I feel like you have a point when you say that, like, what do we do with the most ignorant among us, Mitch?
Yes.
However, like, if I made a plan today to be like, if I said fuck them, to be honest, like, we should be able to live in a society where, like, if that's how you want to act, that we will not tolerate that, and that we will stand our ground about our intolerance of that type of behavior. Everybody would crumble. They would not accept it, because they'd be like, no, I know somebody like this, and like everybody will be like this, and it'll be like that, and all this like nostalgic shit will come up, and it'll be like, well, we can't treat them like this because they're people too. And it's just like, listen, if you don't want if you don't want people to be like sexually harassing people, or to be just like low key sexist, or to be like Andrew Tate, it's like you have to make a stand somewhere. You can't be all loosey goosey about it, because like Andrew Tate, when he says his shit, he's not loosey goosey about shit.
That motherfucker speaks with conviction.
Yeah, like even when he's like dead wrong, like when he's wrong, he just shuts the fuck up. He doesn't even say anything after that. He doesn't like like be like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. Like nothing. No. Like he just stands his ground on his shit. And then like I look at shit like that, and I'm like, you ever look at somebody who can fight and like somebody who can't fight? Like that's how it makes me feel. It makes me feel like when we get to questioning, like, what are we gonna do about like people like Andrew Tate? And it's like, what do you think you should do? Like
yeah, dude.
Like what the fuck? What do you mean?
Because that's not. So here's where I'm coming from. So it's like, because sure you can say that, but now we've gotten back to the whole liberal guilt thing. Because I'm not here to talk about it. I'm talking about what can we actually realistically do that makes men in 2022 going into 2023 and beyond be better people. I'm talking about actions, not just saying words, is where I'm coming from.
Here's an action. Stop questioning whether or not when he gets banned off all that shit, whether or not it's a moral thing.
Yeah.
Like that's one.
Still not
that's
helping.
A good start for me. Like that would be a good start for me, because I feel like a lot of people who say that they are against the things he says and the things he stands for, they'll be like, well, I don't know if they should have banned him from all that shit. And it's just like,
bro,
whose side are you on? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you understand why he got banned. You understand the type of shit he says.
Like, he has influence. It's not like
he has
social
influence.
Media
Yeah.
is like the rest of us, where it's our personal little journal of our lives or whatever. Like, no, he's making an impact on the public, and therefore
check marks.
He should be held accountable. Yeah.
And because of the things he says, he's further solidifying people who think like him, who just have the little lives that like Annie described. He's formally entrenching them into those things and making life harder for women across the globe. You know what I mean? So it's like, why then do you have the same people that are like, oh yeah, I hate the things he says, being like, well, I don't know if, like, you know, freedom of speech, and I don't know if he should have been banned. It's like, he's not going to say that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
actually,
but
he's saying it for you. That's exactly what he said, because he knows the wishy-washy people are the ones that
you're right.
That those are the people keeping him on, because they're not telling him to come off. So you know,
so it's like, if you can't stick to the plan, it's like, yeah, you're always going to be questioned. Like when you said, Mitch, like, yeah, we get to the men in trash argument, but then we can't get past it. We can't get past it because a lot of the times, like, people want to be like, men are trash, and we can't like get past the prompt of the essay. You know what I mean? We can't just get past that part. We can't get.
So this was my grabbing statement.
Yeah,
and now I haven't been able to write the body of my work.
Yeah, we can't get to the meat and potatoes of the thing, because people want to argue and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But then as soon I can't talk today, guys. I'm sorry. But as soon as somebody says, hey, would you let your best friend fuck your sister? They're like, whoa, my guy. Whoa. Guys, I don't know. I've seen the way he is. All of a sudden, you know all the ills about men. All of a sudden, you know all the ways men are trash.
Yeah, it's the similar. It's the I had a daughter, and now I realize women are people with feelings and emotions.
Stereotypical.
But
you didn't
like,
just
trope.
Realize it. You knew that. Shit.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Some of them did.
No, he didn't. No one realizes that we're people unless we're their
daughters
or sisters.
As sad as both of us, that makes both of us.
You know, it's the only way a lot of that's when they all realize that women are people when they have a daughter. They don't realize
like,
we're
oh,
people
fuck.
before that because we're not. It's like a whole. We're still objects meant to, service or whatever.
Create babies and give pleasure
Until
and all that.
we become a thing that it's their job to protect, like a child, like a baby girl.
Or an
it's,
elderly woman, if you're lucky.
Or,
since
yeah,
elderly
their
women
mother.
getting attacked.
Someone
yeah.
that, yeah.
Women that has had a firm place in their life that makes them go, oh, that's a person, but the rest of them,
that makes
no.
sense, yeah. Their job was to help me, and my job is to protect them, all
But
that
this
shit.
one's for me. This one's my plaything.
But anyway, so nobody wants to let their friends fuck their little sisters?
I already said I would. It's just up to her.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
Like, damn, I ain't insecure. Like, I'm going to give it a talk. Like, hey, you really
Good for
feeling
you,
like
Mitch.
that? Yeah.
Good for you.
Hey, we know who the more secure man on this show is.
Do we do?
I'm probably
Yes.
not. I'm probably not.
Logan knows.
Like, if
No,
I had
I'm not
sisters,
even
probably
throwing
would.
shade. I'm
Yeah.
not throwing shade at all. Me and Logan understand this. I'm trying to help him.
Yeah.
My
I don't
entire
think-
life is
I don't
me
think
trying
that's
to
a
help
more
Logan.
secure position. Like if you
Shut
know,
up, Logan.
if you know dudes are trash, and then you're just like, yeah, go ahead. Like it's like, oh,
No, I'm talking
Yeah.
about you, not what?
Who, me?
Yes, you insecure fucking
What about
little-
me? No, I know you calling me insecure, but I'm saying I don't think that's a more secure thing to be like, yeah, go ahead. Go sleep with this fucknut. Like, you know what I mean? I don't even like
Who happens to
That
be
isn't
my
what I
best
said
friend.
either.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Basically, all I really said, Annie, and that's what really sucks. Here comes the toxic masculinity. All I really said was, when you think about it, was, well, that's up to my sister. It's her choice, her
I know,
body,
boring
her
answer.
choice, her body, her choice, and I'm gonna give her the best advice I can on how she should move, and I'm gonna guide her best as I can for what's best for her. But it's her body, it's her choice.
I'm gonna be like, I don't know about that one, Chief. That's what I'm gonna say.
Talking
Listen, I don't know about that
this
nigga, but
You ever see the fucking Naruto like meme where like they're like, I don't know about that one, Chief.
No, actually, I haven't. That's funny. That's not funny. But like,
It's a
yeah.
no for me, dog.
It's a no
Realistically,
for
and
me,
if
dog.
Annie wanted to sleep with my sister, I'd be like, well, damn. All right, well,
Be like,
I
nah, that
probably
nigga's
wouldn't ask
weird.
for permission.
Like,
be safe. That one might do things to you, so be careful. But have fun. It'll be fun.
I might let
Thanks.
Annie do it. I'm not gonna lie.
And he's like, yeah, glad to know that.
Yeah.
I might
You
let
stay
Annie
away
do
from
it.
my female cousins.
but,
I
like-
know. All right, you better watch for the fuck
And
you
he's
move out.
and he'd be like, so you
But
never
now I
thought
have
about it?
Like, come on, man. Like, come on.
Are you serious? No,
Yeah,
no, come
honestly,
here.
and she's too old to be on 25. If you had said like 16, maybe I'd be a little bit more insecure. But
Oh my
25,
god, yeah. I probably would have let my 30-year-old male friends fuck my 16-year-old sister.
like you like fuck
21.
wow.
What if she was 21?
21. More of an argument, more of a guidance talk. Like, hey, you sure you're not just doing this because you want to, feel
Rebel.
like older or like more like a woman because you're already the woman you need to be. So I hope you're not doing this for any other reason. Just more conversation like that. But other
Look
than
at
that,
you, Mitch.
That
Good
is
for
not my
you.
conversation. I'm not gonna do that.
My conversation sounds like this.
I'll be like, listen, I know these dudes. They mad weird. Don't
that's
do that
part
shit.
of the conversation. But it's still up to her.
I'll be like,
like-
you shouldn't do that.
It's funny
Be
how
like,
me and
nah.
me and Logan are gonna have the same conversation,
And
just in
then
two
I'm
different
gonna
ways.
go to my friends and I'll be
Just
like,
in
what
two
the
different
fuck
ways.
do you think you're doing? Be like, that is my sister.
Oh no, yeah, the friends
It's
got to
like,
get checked
Go
regardless.
find somebody else's sister. And be like,
Well, no, not for
Yeah,
that.
go find Mitch's sister.
go find Mitch's sister. Yeah, go play that game over there.
No, the friends got to get checked by me
Be
too.
like, we don't
Like,
play that here.
What you doing, man? So you care, or you just because you could have a good time
I don't care
somewhere
if you
else.
care. Get the fuck away from my sister.
Well, progress
I
takes
feel like
time,
guys,
ladies and
I
gentlemen.
feel like, to be honest though, I do feel like guys like have a certain like guy friend in their group that they're like, yeah, like they could get married, like they want to be like their
Yeah, there is
stepbrother
that
and shit,
friend.
like you know what I mean?
Mhm.
yeah. And then there's also the other friend who was just like, oh God.
Mitch
This
does
is
not want
entering
me
my
like
line.
with his sister or whatever
I
because like
wouldn't
he doesn't want to
actually
see
care
me
if
all
that
the
was
time.
her choice.
No.
I don't. But
Yeah,
if
see?
she wants to, that's her business. You feel me? Once again, secure male over here.
Those are her bad
I
decisions
said
to
this
make.
already. I said this already. Like, listen, I gave her the advice. I know him. I told her everything she could know about
I'm
you.
also secure. I'm just making sure that my area and my life and my family are secure.
Sure, buddy. Sure,
Away
buddy.
from my friends.
Away from my friends, yes.
You know what, Logan? Whatever. Whatever helps you feel okay. All right, buddy. We'll get there. All
That
right.
makes me feel okay.
All right. We'll
Which
get
is
there.
also security, though. Yeah.
Sure, Logan.
Yeah.
Sure. Just smile and nod, Annie.
It's
Just smile and nod.
insecure when you like introduce a threat to my security, though. That
Mm-hmm.
means my domain is now insecure. It's not secure. It's insecure.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! Somebody went to college.
Yeah.
Somebody went to philosophy school.
Yeah.
I'm not
That is
doing
a great
this
place
with
to
you
end.
all again. I'm not doing this with all of you again.
Oh my
Till
god.
next week.
Listen, Mitch, what did you learn from today, and what would you like to tell the people?
That you guys are mean.
Yeah, we have our moments.
I met you just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
do some or care.
I heard
but
it right when I
don't,
did
you
it.
little
I was like,
bitch.
it was probably mean.
That was probably me.
Damn it, not again.
Oh my
Damn it,
God.
not again.
I really tried this time. No, I didn't. But like, I'll do
thought
better
I
next.
did.
No, I won't. But you know, you'll adapt, or maybe you won't. I don't care. Shut the fuck up and get over it.
All right, now you're just putting words in my mouth.
Yeah, or
You're
in
taking
your
the thoughts
thoughts.
in my brain and taking them out.
Exactly. That's what I'm really doing. But it's okay. I love you.
This is like his final argument. He gets to say whatever he wants.
I
We
know.
don't get to object. It's
I'll
all
let
right.
him finish it.
Yeah.
You're
I
right.
could do that regardless. But
I
you know, I'm
guess.
already done.
I guess.
I didn't
I'm
smile, Logan.
I'm
Alright.
fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine,
not a
baby.
smile. Yeah, just like
Secure man over here.
yeah.
Good with himself.
If you got to keep saying it out loud, I don't know.
I
Man.
know.
Mhm.
Secure man. Secure man. I swear to God, I am
It's not a
secure.
spell. It's not
my
like
man,
secure
I am
man.
secure.
Boom.
You're not sure how even spells work, so I won't get into that.
I could learn. They got y'all have books everywhere. Like I could just go to the local
God.
shop. There's an occult shop on Wilson. Like I could learn. Don't act like
You
that.
still don't understand.
Fucking turn you into a frog. You won't even
My
know.
man thinks he could just turn to the book and that's all he needs.
Yeah.
Bye.
Anyways, Annie, he's gone now. Annie, do you have anything you want to leave the people with?
Keep thinking and challenging your friends and call them out when they say some stupid, rude, sexist, racist shit. And call yourself out too, because I know it just takes a second of thought. Like, what did I just say? That seems like it was invested in a lot of this bullshit racism I was raised with and sexism I was raised with. Let me cut that shit out. Or try. It's all a work in progress. Don't feel too bad. Yeah.
Yeah. And stop cutting women off. Yeah. Let women
Yeah.
talk.
Oh my God. Shut up and let them finish, even though they stumble over the words when they talk too long. It was just remember, it was all your fault.
It was all your fault.
Nothing is our fault.
Trying to boost these female numbers on the podcast. That's
Hell
what we're
yeah,
trying to do.
Hopefully getting there.
Take your kids to philosophy class. That's all I want to say. Like, it's essential for their life. It's essential for their critical thinking skills. It's not just some hoity-toity liberal thing that they teach in school. Like, it's essential for our lives. I just wanted to put that message out there and make sure that people know that they're not getting the full and proper education that they could with their children or in their film classes. It's so
There is probably
horrible
a
when I
philosophy and film course, isn't there? Probably is. Yeah, I believe it. There probably is.
I shouldn't troll with good points. Also, yeah, like analyze your culture. Like,
God damn it.
like you having camera issues.
Yeah, Brian only does that.
Like, think about like how your culture is around. Just like, if you don't think about for your whole like community, think about just your friend group. Like, think about what the culture is in your friend group, the type of things you guys allow and the type of things you don't allow, and if that says anything about you. You know, and like, be honest with yourself. The way Annie was saying, like, be honest with yourself, be honest with your own effect within your own friend group's culture and what that is, what that means. You know what I mean? I think that's a good way to start. And I think that's a good way to deal with our impact as far as how we impact everybody in our communities, you know, like, you are your own little community, and that just turns into a broader community. Like, we each affect each other, and that's how we affect each other. You know what I mean? And are you hurting that, or are you contributing? As always, if you like the show, share the show. Also, subscribe and follow the show wherever you found it. If you like conversations like this, or if you hate conversations like this, the show is on YouTube, so you can always put in the comments how much you think we're liberal simps, or how much you think we're enlightened philosophical beings, or whatever. I don't know.
That's only me.
Huh? That's only
That's
you.
only me.
The anti-philosophy guy. That's you.
No.
Give your
that's,
opinions
that's
on
me.
Mitch.
Yes.
Yes, definitely in the
The guy
comment
who was
section.
able to have an argument against it in terms of film while also recognizing its importance is I. Yes, I am the.
Yes.
I am the guy.
Let's
The enlightened being
put
you
your
speak of.
opinion, your iterations of what Mitch's explanation was in the comments.
Yo, if you can translate what the fuck
Decipher
Mitch is saying
Mitch's
on the
arguments in the
podcast,
comments.
please
That means
do.
you
Do
too
it.
must be an enlightened being.
Yes, please do. Do that immediately without hesitation. Do it now, please.
Yes,
Thank
my
you.
brothers and sisters.
So we can add
And my people
subtitles.
in between.
Let's get out of here, guys. Say bye to the people, Annie.
Bye, people.
Say bye to the people, Mitch.
Nope, I'm still mad about earlier.
All right, cool. This has been episode 64 of the Milk and Toast podcast. I've been your host, Logan, and we're out. Bye.
See ya.